In much of Africa, you do not die once, you die twice. The first death takes your body, the second comes years later, on the day the last person alive who remembers your name dies too. For more than a century, Europe told the world that Africa had no time, no clocks, no history, no future. Was it true? Or did they fail to recognize a clock that was not shaped like theirs? That is the question this story answers. Let us start with what is actually there. A village at first light. No clock on any wall, no watch on any wrist, and yet nothing here is ever late. In Europe, time is a line, running out of the past and into a future you must chase. Here, time is an event. Things do not happen at a time. Things happen when they are ready. Time here is not money. It is not spent. It is not saved. Time is made. The way you make room, you make time for people. There is a saying told across the continent. The Westerner has a watch. The African has time. The year is 1969. A Kenyan philosopher and priest named John Mbiti publishes a book, African Religions and Philosophy. In it, he tries to explain African time to the world. He reaches for two Swahili words, sasa and zamani. Two small words, two oceans of time. Sasa is the now, the living present, everything you can see, touch, remember, and expect within your own life. Sasa is where the living live. Zamani is the deep past, not a memory, not a record, an ocean. Everything that has ever happened flows backward into Zamani and rests there. In Mali, the griots carry 7 centuries of names in memory, kings, battles, and bloodlines reaching back to the year 1235. Not one page written down. So in Mbiti's Africa, time does not march forward, it flows backward. You are not walking into the future, you are walking toward the ancestors. Think of someone you loved who is gone. You still say their name, you still hear their voice. In Mbiti's account, that means they have not reached Zamani yet. They are the living dead, still in Sasa, still family, spoken to, consulted, offered food and drink. Only when the last person who remembers them dies do they cross into Zamani. The second death, not an ending, not a loss, a completion. Then Mbiti wrote one more sentence, and philosophers have been fighting over that sentence for more than 50 years. He claimed that traditional African thought held almost no concept of a distant future, 2 years ahead perhaps. Beyond that, he said, nothing, no word for it, no interest in it. African thinkers pushed back hard. The Ghanaian philosopher Kwame Gyeke called the claim simply false, and the evidence was everywhere. Consider the Maasai of Kenya and Tanzania. Their age-set system opens a new generation roughly every 15 years, in ceremonies arranged before some of those boys are even born. How do you plan 15 years ahead, with no concept of the future? Consider the farmers. Fields left fallow for 7 seasons so the soil could return. Granaries built to hold grain against a drought no one could see yet. That is the future, held in mud and thatch. And the clocks were always there. Europe simply did not recognize them. Look at the Horn of Africa, Ethiopia. Here the day does not begin at midnight. It begins at dawn, when the day actually begins. What London calls 7 in the morning, Ethiopia calls 1 o'clock. The Ethiopian calendar holds 13 months, 12 months of 30 days, and 1 small month of 5. Land in Addis Ababa today and check the date. It is not 2026, it is 2018. Down the Swahili coast, the same dawn logic. Saa moja, 1 o'clock is sunrise. Millions in Kenya and Tanzania still keep Swahili time today, quietly translating whenever the official clock demands it. In Ghana, the Akan write time into their children's names. A boy born on Friday is Kofi, like Kofi Annan. Born on Saturday, Kwame, like Kwame Nkrumah. Monday gives Kwadwo and Adwa. Wednesday, Kwaku and Akua. Thursday, Ya and Ya. Sunday, Akwasi and Essi. Every name a day, every person a walking piece of the calendar. In eastern Nigeria, the Igbo week has 4 days. Each day belongs to a market, and the markets turn like a wheel. The week is not a countdown, it is a rotation of gathering. In South Sudan, the Nuer told the hour by their herds. Milking time, grazing time, the return of the cattle at dusk. The anthropologist Evans Pritchard called it the cattle clock. So ask yourself, if a people name their children by the day, plan ceremonies 15 years ahead, and keep a calendar older than the one on your phone, who decided they had no time? The answer arrived on ships. Missionary bells cut the day into services. Mine whistles cut it into shifts. Railway timetables cut it into minutes. And the meridian that ruled them all ran through London. That is when the insult was born. African time, two words meaning late, lazy, backward, a whole continent measured against a clock it never asked for and found guilty. But honesty cuts both ways. The collision between event time and clock time is real, and Africans know it better than anyone. Ivory Coast. The year is 2007. The government backs a national ceremony called Punctuality Night. The most punctual worker in the country wins a house. You do not build a ceremony against lateness unless lateness is costing you something, so hold both truths. Clock time built the airports, the surgeries, the markets that never sleep. Ignore it and you pay dearly. That side is true, and event time holds what the clock cannot. The meeting starts when everyone has arrived because the people matter more than the schedule. The clock does not care who is in the room. Event time cares about nothing else. Which clock is right? The one on the wall or the one in the blood? Philosophers, historians, and economists are still arguing. Nobody has won that argument yet. But remember where this began. Somewhere today, a grandmother speaks a name aloud so a child will carry it. Because in much of Africa, you do not die once, you die twice. And between those two deaths, you are held.